Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Mark. Hey, Sterling, good morning. I think they're still a little low on that, but we'll see. We'll see. What else do we have? Good morning, Patrick. Let's just get the good mornings out of the way. Wait, Jobless Claims come out. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, McRangers. This will be a quieter morning today. By the way, I'll be on Ninja Trader at 11 Eastern if anybody wants to tune in. So, did trade here yesterday. If anybody wants to watch the replay, we went over some stocks too. If you want to watch the replay, it's on Trader's YouTube channel, so you can check that out. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, PMG. All right. Again, you got markets trying. Jobless claims, continuing jobless claims coming in slightly better by 7K. Initial jobless claims, initial jobless claims coming in slightly better. Continuing jobless claims coming in a little worse than consensus. So, and continues to climb. The 4-week average continues to climb. But markets latched on to the initial jobless claims number, dropping a hair. So you want all the rate cuts. You want like 50 double cut in September. Yet we're going to rally it because the claims come in slightly better than expected. This market's so schizophrenic right now, which generally happens at key turning points. So that's where that sits. Any excuse to buy it, but watch, because this is yesterday's close, and yesterday's the selling in the afternoon, 2 days in a row. That's setting it up for a very key area for me. And tomorrow, we got nothing going on. Today, you had Lilly earnings, which popped, and I did one of the stocks I talked about yesterday was Lilly, so keep an eye on that. There it is, 11.84%. So you see mega caps rallying, semiconductors rallying after they keep getting some selling pressure in the afternoon, especially. Your groups, let's do a quick refresh. Everything except consumer defensive is positive. Fed watch, still, let's just do a refresh of this too to see if anything changed since the top of the hour. But they're climbing a bit to possibly only one cut, but still somewhat pricing in 2 cuts. Well, it's better that the jobless market's not, or the jobless claims isn't falling apart, but we need 2 cuts. We're still in extreme fear. So we're still going to be watching for a bottom. Don't know if that's in yet, especially next with CPI, PPI coming out yet. Way I'll be looking at it. Let's just go over this. Way Lilly today, up big off the beat. But after the close, Paramount? We don't have much. There's nothing. Then tomorrow, there's really nothing, unless you're in any of these individual stocks, but nothing market moving. Who else is here? Hey, Charles. Good morning. Again, Mark. All right. The key line in the sand. You see here, there's NASDAQ. Here's the S&P. Key line in the sand now, since we've tapped the rotation zone. By the way, the head and shoulders is the remaining target is technically invalidated because it closed below the 62.5. And we're sort of caught in, we corrected, came back down, did not get enough to form a bigger double bottom. For me, yesterday tried to get up and fill the gap, but no gap fill in the S&P and lots of selling in the afternoon. So the only thing that gets me into short-term pop mode, and that would be even above the gap fill, is a sustained move above yesterday's high. Everything else is scalpy between here, and I'll be watching, since technically we did close below the 62.5 on the 4-hour. I'm going to be watching for another rollover play. Watching for another rollover play. So, still holding the key area. If we do roll over the probabilities now have shifted to, and these aren't as strong as the let me put it this way, smaller to swing, the lower the probability drops, but the probability still is increased that we could retest the low area. And if we break that, we're still looking at 50-50. 5,050 being the key area. So that's where that stands on any rally, unless we can sustain, because look at all the selling pressure above here. So this could easily rally into the morning a bit, then roll over. Again, a 7K beat. There's some in the market looking for any excuse to buy, but really pay attention to the rotation zone. Even on this run up, even if it were to take out yesterday's high, and I'm not talking today, I'm even through tomorrow, key breakdown area in the top of the rotation zone and the hooking over 50 is right about this 5420 area 5420 to 5437. So I, again, can't get sustained bullish. 5495 is still the key level. But I can't even get short-term bullish besides any bounce plays. And we've already bounced a bit into the open. I mean, there was just a little breakout play into a clear path. Here's the selling yesterday. You know, especially in the afternoon, just kept breaking key support. So, going into the open, looking at something minors, 5293 roughly, but we're entering the next potential rollover zone into the open, so it's really got to sustain something here. Now, NASDAQ was fascinating. NASDAQ's fascinating because look at the close yesterday. This is where closing is the most important print. Closed yesterday after a rally up hitting the rotation zone, and I'm pulling off this too. NASDAQ did close the gap, by the way. Yesterday's close was below Monday's close. Still trying to hold this 200, but yesterday's close was below Monday's close. So there's some key underlying weakness. And even on a pop, same thoughts go with the NASDAQ, but it's got to sustain above now yesterday's high. But then the target for me is 18,950 area. So would not be surprised again to see another rollover play. NASDAQ on the retracement harmonics from the double lows that hit the first and second targets to the highs yesterday did not close below 62.5 on a 4-hour basis. So again, we're getting a lot of mixed messages in the market. But I will be continuing to focus on rollover plays unless we sustain something above yesterday's high, and that's for a continued short-term pop only. The key level which we have to get follow through on the NASDAQ is all the way above 19,621, which is the only thing that makes me shift to more sustained short-term bullish. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, John. The Dow, same thing, the selling pressure here. Now we're getting, this is technically, even with these number of rotations, can be lumped in the potential double bottom. I'd switch this if it were to trigger to conservative. So the Dow's giving a little clearer potential pattern on at least a 4-hour close. Is that the right level? Hold on, 39,619. Yeah, that's the right one. 39,619. That takes us to 40,132, 40,428, 40,697. Now let's take a look at that daily chart because it's against the rotation zone. So the probabilities are lower. But that's a potential bounce pattern, but nowhere near triggering. Again, I'm more focused on a potential rollover play, also in the Dow reconnecting it with the 200. Back to 38,250 at least. And remember, we closed below 62.5, so that magnet price is even below that at 38K. Russell. No, let's just see. No, that's not going to work. So the Russell has to, again, no gap fill in the Russell yet, but it's got to sustain something above yesterday's high. So nothing to talk about there. The VIX, still relatively elevated. We did not close back above 30 yesterday, even with that pullback sell-off. That's still the key level I'm watching. And I'll be watching yesterday's lows for any drop in the VIX. DAX, also, we've got the gap fill to the DAX, which technically already was filled. But I was still watching that key close yesterday anyways. The DAX on any rally, my levels is 17,950. And then I'll be again focused on rollover plays in the DAX. Notes, pulling back through key support into the rotation zone. Notes weakening pretty rapidly, and the yields back close to 4%. So now we have daily cycles still dropping. We might be setting up for some potential bounce buys next week, but nothing yet. Nothing yet. These markets, and today, it's still thinner summer hours. The market is very, very schizophrenic. There's your yields. There's your yields. There's still a yield gap on the micros left behind, right around 4.1. Cycle's still climbing on there, but there's no great setup just yet. 10-2s, again, there's not a lot of great setups from my perspective. Hovering right back around the zero mark. Yesterday closed back above zero officially. So we officially closed back above zero. We've gone above zero, but we officially closed back above zero yesterday. So even if it drops slightly, it's still going to be continue climbing even from a probability and pattern standpoint. Dollar index, still watching for rollovers in here too. Key area for me is 103.22. There's just no news coming out. Crude triggered the double. Stalled out at the first target. So if it continues, now remember, this is for a pop play only, 76.35, 76.92. This is for a pop play only. This was not a long-term bottom. You see it can possibly take it to the other end of the rotation zone. Again, for me to get substantially bullish in crude again and stop focusing on rollover plays, it's got to get above 79.70. Coco thinks the rally will be big today. Gold, nothing. Silver keeps stalling out at the first target on the double, but I'm still going to be watching for rollover plays in silver. Yen, just bouncing back to the rotation zone. No long-term bottom just yet. Or medium-term bottom, or any bottom besides a spike via reversal, based off the potential of them not doing more rate hikes, which is going to put them in a very interesting bind. Bitcoin, still watching for rollover plays in the short term. Again, the markets are just all over the place at the moment, so sometimes it's best when markets are all over the place to sit on your hands. Ethereum, still watching for rollover plays because of the bigger pattern. Spiders, your key levels still focus on the high area from Monday and Tuesday, from Tuesday and Wednesday. There is still a gap left behind on any up move to 532.90, and my major resistance now The key level I'll be watching is 537.70 area to 538 if we do rally. That's really key for where I'll be watching for rollovers. Also remember PPI, CPI next week. NASDAQ still the Tuesday, Wednesday high area. And then the key levels for me is about 457.60. What else? What else? NVIDIA. Still yesterday, remember, Monday did not close below 62.5. Yesterday did. So now the probabilities have officially shifted down to 83.70. We completed the double pattern. Then we got the bounce. Now we have the close below 62.5. So even on rallies, my probabilities have shifted to retest the 83.70 area and the 200 and go back into the key consolidation area. So I'll be watching for the rollovers in NVIDIA. And that could potentially reconnect with the 200. And that's the first reconnection with the 200 since January of 23, potentially. So do keep that in mind. We'd see another probably substantial leg down in the market if NVIDIA breaks and reconnects with that. Hey, there's your Lily. Thank you for putting in there. EPSB 392 versus 272. Revenue 11.303 verse 9. So Lilly again blowing it out of the market. Lilly was one of the stocks we covered yesterday that was still against in a key support area. I mentioned 718 area that was my warning sign for a breakdown. We obviously have not gone below that, and the key level for a more sustained move higher is 884.14. The rollover zone still is 855 to 884. What is Lilly's PE trading? Jeez. I mean, that's going to drop, but it's still. This is an expensive stock, but you know what? This is still tradable to the long side, which obviously we got with today's earnings. But keep an eye. Just go watch the Tradier stuff because we cover some stocks there. What else do we have? Tesla, not robo-taxi day. Nothing to talk about. So, there isn't really much to talk about. You know, whether it bounces or not today, whether it can follow through, I'm going to be watching again for the rollover plays unless we can sustain above Tuesday, Wednesday's highs. And then that's for a continued short pop to key breakdown zone only. And we could see a retest of easily and break yet Monday's lows next week. So I am in full-blown still cautious mode because we don't have any very strong bottoming pattern yet. With that, I'll be on NinjaTrader at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. So if anybody wants to tune into that, you can. And until then, I will see everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.